Granite muck piece. So I'm working on a triple gauge set for Cleo. Got oil pressure. I bought the copper line instead of the plastic line. I found that it lasts a lot longer, and you know, when you take it through the firewall, you don't have to be as careful about where you're taking it, and what you're doing, and all that. I like the copper line. You know, it comes with fittings, blah blah. Going with temperature, and there's the temperature fittings. I might have had them backwards. These look like the oil pressure fittings. Yeah, they are. Temperature fittings, oil pressure fittings. Then I'm going with a voltmeter. So my voltmeter, one of the things I like about voltmeters is just tie it into ignition. So, you know, key on, it's hot, shows you what your voltage is. You know, alternator's running, 13 volts, 14 volts. This is one of my cats. This is Agori. Think about that for a second. The cat's name is Agori. Cat Agori. I'm so proud of myself. His brother's running around here somewhere. His name's Mandu. But anyway, all right, back to undistraction. So the lights, you can tie the lights in straight to your volt wire then, because they're just an ignition feed also. It'll get its ground through the case. So one of the things I like to do, these wires are little bitty thin guys. So I kind of guesstimate. I'm going to be right through here somewhere. And I take these kind of strippers. I don't know if you got a pair, but these are awesome. And I make a bare spot. And you just take out a tiny little chunk of wire. Notice how I'm cutting the razor blade toward me. That's what they taught me in Boy Scouts. And then I take and I poke a little hole in the middle of the wire. And now that's set. When I get in there, I can stick that wire through, wrap it around, put a little tape on. It's good for these little lights. It's good for a lot of stuff. It works out pretty good. This is a Gory again. Come here, Mandu. Oh, buddy. There's Mandu. But anyway, Mandu's a little more skittish. Heard a noise. So since these are where they're at, kind of shove them together. I'm going to take just a little bit out of this guy, I think. I tried to take enough out of the first one that I wouldn't have to take a second cut. There we go. Back to my hole. It would help if I had something a little finer. This, I'm just going to poke a hole in my finger. La-di-da. So picture the gauge set. It's going to be on the far end. Then, you know, I'll probably have oil pressure and temperature. And there are little lights that just going to tie in right there. And they'll just run straight to key on. And then when you start to key, lights on your gauges, doesn't matter. They burn out, they're cheap, they're easy to replace. So I don't tie them into my headlights and all that stuff. Just key on, lights work. So now to figure out where I'm going to put this guy, because under the dash of this Studebaker is a lot. There's like on this side, on the left side, you've got the hood release, you've got a couple air vents, and then just on the other side of the steering wheel you have the parking brake, which we'll probably never use, and then just past it you have the power top switch, and then we get into the cup holder. So there's a lot going on there. I got to see where exactly this will fit and give me sight access to everything, and not get in the way of. About the only thing I would block would be the parking brake, because I'm never going to pull it because it's an old car. It has old cables, and if you pull it, it might not release. So I'm not going to risk it. Kittens, they're great. But anyway, yeah. Give me a minute. We'll be back. I'm going to give you a better view of those holes and what I've done. See, take out just a little piece of wire, or a little piece of insulation, poke a hole in the wire, and then, as I did with this one, you just stick it through the hole, wrap it around, smash everything tight, put a little tape on it, and that is great for these little lights and this little bitty thin wire. Tonight, who has the peaceful village? The lion sleeps tonight. So I don't know if you can see this very well. You can see it in front of the cat. So I've ran the copper through a clear tube, and I ran it several feet just because I didn't feel like cutting it more than anything. But so this will allow it to run under the dash. It can't short out on anything, and when it goes through the firewall, it's got a little extra protection from rubbing, so it shouldn't rub on anything. And then, out here will be under the hood. So that's just the way I like to do it. And I'm going to send it through the same hole I've sent everything else. This is my oil pressure sensor, and that's where I'm going to run my oil pressure for my gauge set to. Generally these guys are about 1 1/16", which I have here. Well, that's dark. I'll get you some light. Is that better or worse? Better or worse? It feels like it's just a little bit big. Okay, maybe this one's 1 inch. I don't think it's 15/16. That's probably the two most common of those, is 1 inch and 15/16, or 1 inch and 1/16 and 15/16. But this one feels odd. may have to get a socket on it because that's really weird, because an inch seems like it's too small. You know, it's a Studebaker, it shouldn't be metric. It's also 12-sided, so you can't use, you know, like a 6-point socket. And most, yeah. Yonk. So it's already starting off with a bang. Starting off really good. But, I don't know if that makes it better or worse either, but I don't think they're flat enough for the 1/16 wrench to bite, to break it loose, because it's probably been on there since, you know, 1961. And oh, it moved. Yay. Isn't that pretty? All right. So, I have to decide if I am trimming off that end or the other end. Or if I'm going to leave it looped around with some extra, which always vibrates and has a possibility of breaking. But so let's see how much I got here. Back that a little more. So this is what I'm dealing with. I think I'll use a tubing cutter right here. Shouldn't take much of this copper line, and I'm going to cut just about a foot off of him. I think it's going to be enough to make it a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's nice right there. Kind of nice. I like. All right. So, trying to drain the radiator, and it's not working very well. Bring you up here a little bit. You want to try to make sure you don't go over top of your hole there. You don't need a ton. It's enough to help seal it up some. You know, it's a pipe thread fitting. Pipe thread fittings are kind of tapered, and just keep getting tighter as you tighten down there. So, kind of like a JIC hydraulic fitting, you just keep tightening it up. Sooner or later, that leak will go away. But I'm trying to, you know, do it right, kind of. And I think this might be an oil port too, and I could take it off there, but since my oil pressure gauge doesn't work anywhere, my oil pressure idiot light doesn't work, I'm hooking a gauge in. You got a gauge, you don't need an idiot light. So you got 2 holes in the block to leak. That's, you know, more leaks that could happen. So. How was your day? Mine was pretty decent. You know, I calibrated some stuff. Pretended to care. It was nice. I'm ready to go to my new job. I don't know how much my new job will affect me making videos, but you know, it'll be okay. Where did I put the bag of parts? Because this guy goes right here. Hear that? Try to zoom you down there a little bit. Extra nuts, extra barrels, because you know, it just seemed big. But yeah, I like that better. Got 2 kits technically, because I got so there, you put the ferrule on, you're gonna put this dude all the way down in there. At least down all the way. Need to start that dude. And the ferrule will smash down and seal everything up, hopefully. Right here with my oil line. So I want to take him over the steering column, preferably without kinking him. So far, so good. I'm going to take him to here. All right, so same thing, nut, knurl, can't see because my glasses aren't in the right position. Go it all the way up there, tighten this dude up. So we see if that works or leaks oil everywhere. Why not? I got oil pressure. Leaks there. There. No leak back here. That's good. All right. So, this thing is cold, idling 40 pounds on a crooked oil pressure gauge that I need to straighten out because it's going to drive me insane. Alright, that one's done. Don't need to do that one. No. Alright, so that little guy, I pulled the wire off earlier, is my water temperature. Oh yeah. Hopefully I've got enough water drained out of it. I don't lose a bunch. If I do, it goes to the cardboard gods because, you know, that's what I got on my shop floor. Under this is cardboard. I always have something underneath my cars for some reason or another. It's not really so much, you know, I'm trying to keep my shop clean because I really don't give a shit most of the time, but ta-da! And that is my little water sending unit. It doesn't want to work, so we will do away with him, and we'll take these wires and we'll tie them dude up somewhere. And we got to tie all this stuff up yet, but we're getting there. So this dude, come here, hi. All right, there he is. This dude goes in here, but as you can tell, I got to do some spacing. So I've got that stuff over here. That is my adapter. So I've got to pipe thread this whole conglomerate. So we'll go over here. Device down about there. And this guy will get some pipe thread. You get pipe thread. And you get pipe thread. The whole damn apartment gets pipe thread. Actually, both sides of this need pipe thread, but you know. So then, so I could burp this guy by loosening this guy up after I get water back in it, and I might. Let me see if I can find those freeze plugs. I bought several, but I only need to change one. So that's the freeze plug I'm talking about. that's leaking. This little guy right here, you can just see a little dab of something around him. So the head's got several of these guys. That's the only one leaking. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So I'm going to use this screwdriver that's obviously never been hit by a hammer. Try to knock it out of there. So yeah, he's got a hole in him now. That's a good sign. Good. Wow, he was just waiting to blow. That's outstanding. See that? Yeah, that works good too. There he goes. Ta-da! Is this too big? Are you too big? Oh, you're about right here. Would help if this was out of my way. Yeah, it made it better. Oh, man. Uh-oh. The socket may have to live there now. He's trying to come out. Ha-ha! Ha-ha! There was a little ridge back there. That's what you want. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear the hammer sound change there, but it changed. All right, that dude is in all the way. Look at that. Just look at it, will you? Man, that dude was just about to give way. If it didn't have all that crud behind it, you know, all the crap I dug out of that hole, it probably would have. But, yeah. I don't know if you saw that. So, what I was trying to do, what I generally do with a freeze plug, is I drive a hole in them because they're hard to knock out and get them to cock sideways because they're stuck in there and they're hitting the back piece of the thing. I drive a hole in them and then I pry the screwdriver up to pop the freeze plug out. So, that's how I got that dude out. Anyway, there you go. Freeze plug replacement. Okay, while I was working here, I finally started trying to shove some water out. I need to find that should keep him from leaking. Now I know there's water in there, so it should read fairly. All right. Okay, now I gotta figure out where I want to pull power from. You know, you may call me stupid, but I'm thinking I might tie these wires. No, I can't tie it to that one. Where did I pull that power from? I pulled that power from the green one on the radio, which is right there. Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm going to pull that from. That's where I'll pull that from. If you ever notice, I work alone a lot. As you know, I'm my own best friend. Because, you know, it's just what I do. Okay, now I need a ground. So that is looks like a good ground right up there, but I'll need an end. So it only needs to be about this long. And strip this dude off so I can put an end on it. It looks like a pretty good ground spot. It's the hold down or the mount for the parking brake, you know. And with this car, unlike Elvira, this car isn't fiberglass, so I think that's the right size, I think. The way I got it, I'm going to wire these guys up. This is my thought, that as soon as the key comes on, I will have lights to my dash, or to my gauges, which is fine by me. And then I know they're always on at night, you know, and then I will also be ready for this guy. Up, 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 up. In there. There we go. So yeah, key will come on, and my gauges will light up. My voltmeter gauge will read whatever my battery voltage is currently. And then when I start it, my voltmeter gauge might go down as I fire it up, because it'll be cranking. But once it starts and the alternator starts charging, then it should go up. Those really short wires that tie nothing up. Alright, so let's go here. Look at that. Right on 12 volts. Nothing. Oh, my light went out there. Why did my light go out there? I'll have to mess with that. Oil pressure coming up. Oh, look, the alternator jumping up to 14. There we go. 14 volts, 40 pounds of oil pressure, even though it's a little crooked. I'm going to have to loosen it up to straighten it. And, you know, temperature coming up. That's important stuff right there. You know, I mean, I like full gauges. I like numbers on them, full gauges that I can see. No doubt in my mind, my alternator's putting out around 14 volts. I've checked it a billion times. So if that gauge drops down to under 12, I know there's a problem. If I come out here to start my car and I turn the key on and that gauge goes to 9 volts, I'm like, uh-oh, I've got a battery problem. So it comes in pretty handy, you know. And then temperature gauge, how can you go wrong? Oil pressure, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. So I'll get that light fixed. The wire's still there, so gotta be the bulb just freaking popped. Oh well, you know. And was it come on, and it went beep. So how'd that go? Beep. That's how it went. So anyway, all right. Let me see how I can turn this 2-3 day video into 15 minutes. That's what I'd shoot for. 15 minutes. I think 15 minutes is plenty. But anyway, gauges, run that muck. Peace.